All right, can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
All right, so hi, my name is Nisha Immadisetty, and this project is basically a disease classification model which is using AI. So what is this project exactly? Well, we created an AI model which can classify diseases based on the symptoms and the description that the user inputs into the system. Using past data sets and past data, the machine can find diseases that have like the most close connection to what the user has inputted into the system, and it will explain the likeliest condition of the user and certain treatments that might be best for them. This can be used mostly by doctors or even regular, just citizens. So the problem that we figured out was that diagnosing diseases can be inaccurate, slow, or inaccessible to many places around the world due to things such as the need to take way too many tests, inaccurate readings, just not enough information, or even improper machinery. So our goal was to build a smart system that can assist users in identifying the most likely and the most relevant diseases that they may or may not have based on the user inputted systems and a brief description.
All right.
Yeah. A model like this can help shorten the process of diagnosing a patient, which can save valuable time for doctors. They can figure out the disease that the patient most likely has, which can allow for them to test just for a few diseases instead of hundreds. Because in a normal day, in a normal clinic, sometimes if you don't know exactly what's happening, doctors need to test for like many diseases, which includes many tests. And simply they don't have enough time for this. And even the patient themselves can get very uncomfortable and impatient. Additionally, this method can give doctors a brief rundown of any possible diseases the person may have, still giving doctors the final diagnosis, of course, but also with possible treatments that they can use and saving a lot of time and even just knowledge that they don't need to be inaccurate about.
Understood.
Yes. And these are the two data sets that we used. The first one is the main one that we use, which include features like fever, cough, breathing issues, age, gender, BP, and cholesterol level. And the target is for diseases. And we have 350 rows for maximum accuracy. And we use another data set, which are the sources that we use for the LLM, such as like the disease treatments, the symptoms that are likely for it, and we use pandas for data organization on both data sets.
Okay.
So essentially, the main things that we used in our project were Python as the coding language, Streamlit for deployment and for app creation, Google Generative AI, which was Gemini, for the LLM portion of the project, Seaborn and Matplotlib for the data visualization library and statistical plotting near the beginning while we were trying to make it more accurate and all of its responses more genuine and real. And we use sklearn for the machine learning library.
Okay.
And our model, we used random forest classifier as the classification model, since it uses data sets and classification to predict diseases based on user inputs. And the user inputs can be anywhere ranging from like no's and yeses, normal, high, low, the gender, and their ages. And it will run the algorithm outputted into the LLM.
Okay. Understood.
And this LLM, it uses Google Gemini API to further improve the accuracy of the description of the program. And it uses the outputs from the classification model and the user description. And this is the prompt that we input into our program in order to give the best response that we could for doctors and users.
Okay. All right.
And this is how our main user interface looks. And we use Streamlit to build this UI. And it's very simple. It allows the user to pick options or type a number in and type their description at the very end if they have any further information they wanted to use to identify what disease they have.
All right.
Furthermore, with the UI, once all these inputs have been added and the UI is finished, like the program is finished outputting some information, it provides a few possible diseases based on accuracy and relevancy to the user inputs. And it indicates why it's relevant and how common it actually is, since oftentimes things like Google, they tend to reach based on symptoms that you have. So we like to also make sure that it's more common and more likely to the user. And if it's also urgent and if they need to go to see urgent care or anything like that.
All right. Understood.
And essentially the way that we worked around, like the way that this project happened was we got the disease, symptoms, and patient profile data set and trained the ML model using random forest classifier. And then we print out the different input boxes, which also got the user inputs. And then the last step was to print out the output using with the predicted diseases and use the LLM to respond with the recommended treatments.
Okay. Understood.
And this can be used by clinics, health apps, or even just regular individuals, and it can help triage urgency and awareness. And it's very effective because we have a strong initial accuracy of like 80%, and using further data, we can become even more accurate. And the LLM explains very well what you need to know about the disease and treatments and all that. And it can even automate basic diagnostic feedback. And it's very low cost, deployable app using open source tools, and it can be accessible to non-experts via web UI. And in the future, this can be used by doctors' offices for even professional use worldwide, and more databases make outputs even more accurate.
Understood.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
It was a really well presentation. A question that I would like to ask is, you told me about a prompt that you give to the AI, right?
Yes.
That gives you the best optimized results. How did you get that prompt? How did you realize that, okay, this is something that we go for?
Well, first we had to ask ourselves, like, if we were using this if we were using this app, what would we want to know first of all anyway? And me personally, I thought like I would want to know how common is it actually, because every time I use Google, which looking back was not the smartest idea and was actually a very good like reason why we want to do this, we want to know if it's common. Is it relevant to our daily life? Is it even likely to happen? So these were things I personally want to know, and my teammates wanted to also know things, something like, well, what's it called? What treatments can I use? Is it urgent even? And what does this disease mean? Because it's not like regular people know what is happening to them. Some people don't know what what's it called? Anything, really, just heart disease or anything. They don't know what any of these things are, so they need an explanation. So we've tried to make the LLM the prompt as specific as we could. We wanted to make sure that it covered all bases, it was crystal clear, and we kept refining it and adding it into the LLM and outputting it until we got what we wanted the desired effect to be.
Understood. I like the thought process behind it. And I loved your presentation as well. The tech stack that you mentioned was really structured, well structured. And yeah, overall, it was a nice presentation. What do you think inspired you to go for this project? What was the idea behind it, inspiration behind the idea?
Honestly, in the first meeting with the mentor, he used these like examples to do with medicine. And since me and my other teammates didn't exactly know, like, we weren't sure what like page we would be on. So we just thought like, oh, hey, this medical one, it can be used realistically. And it's a problem that we've all had. So we kind of just went along with it and hoped that it would take us well. And it did, I think. Because it's something we were all interested in and we had the inspiration in the first place. So.
Understood. That sounds good. Do you have a quick demonstration of the project? Can you give
Yeah,
it?
I can try. It's a bit laggy, I will say.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, 1 second. I'll try to deploy it before I do anything.
Sure. Take your time. Meanwhile, I have a question for you. Do you have your interest aligning with the medical field?
I'm not really sure where I want to go, but I did do healthcare related. I do a healthcare related club at school, so I
Okay.
kind of just when I thought about this, I was already kind a little bit knowledgeable. So I thought
Okay.
I just was interested as it was, but I don't really know where my interests align for the future.
Yeah, fine. Take your time to explore. Anyways, we'll get on with the demonstration once you're done with it.
Yeah, I have kind of bad Wi-Fi, so it's gonna take a little bit to load, but it'll be there soon.
Sure. I had a conversation with a mentor here because he mentioned it, and he was happy about. He specifically mentioned that you had the willingness to learn and understand things, and that whenever you got the challenge, you just took on challenges. So yeah, that was something nice to hear about you. Compliments from
Thank
the
you.
mentor as well.
He was really helpful during the entire process, actually.
Yeah, how was the experience with him, if I may know it?
I thought it was a great experience because we didn't like every time we hit any problem, honestly, he was very encouraging and he took the time to go step by step with me to like make sure that it worked out. Cause like at some point we actually had the wrong code file in the street, like GitHub. So just like made me share my screen the whole time. And then he just kept looking at what was going on wrong. And he was pretty patient about it too. Cause at that point I was already a little bit frustrated. But like
Yeah,
it was really nice how he realized that it was also the wrong code file because it wasn't completed. So I had a good experience overall.
that's nice to hear. I'm glad. Uh, what would you say about the instructors?
Oh, I thought the instructor was really nice actually. He was very calm and he was very not slow, but like he was pretty fast paced, but he knew that he had to ask questions to us. So we were always on track.
Understood.
Yeah. So this is the UI of the project. You can type in any age, such as like 25. And then here you can pick out any like levels that you may want to use, like if you know them.
All right.
Yeah, and then cough. And then here is where you use like a little description. Like I have rashes all over. Yeah. And then record. And then the predicted diseases and anxiety disorders. And it will
Okay,
take a bit of time to load in. So
that's true.
yeah. Not really sure when
Uh,
it'll go through, but it does.
Meanwhile, what upgradations would you like to do in the UI of the website as such, if you had time?
If I had
And
time,
we will continue with this first. Yes, we'll go through
yeah.
the document first.
Yeah, so it took a little time to load in, but we have predicted disorders here. So based on whatever I wrote here, it says allergic reaction is the most common, and or it could be a viral infection, or even just anxiety disorders. And
Okay,
then we made sure that we included like a disclaimer that it's only for general understanding and it's not actually professional use, so that anyone who actually like uses this knows that this is not the end all result and they have to go to an actual doctor in the end.
that's thoughtful
Compliment or
and
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
it looks nice. It looks nice. What was your role in the team? What was the thing that you worked the most upon?
Me personally, I work the most on the LLM portion, like creating the prompt and
All right.
that entire part area.
Hmm. And you think you're better with your skills right now?
Hmm?
And how better are you with your skills right now? If you had to tell me about how what your perspective was about AI before the course and what it is now after once the course is done, what would you say?
Well, I think I actually understand a lot more about how data actually is used in